Welcome to my channel. Haters, users, abusers, stalkers, supporters, family, con artists. All right, guys, so I want to do a reading on, this is for Carolina. I'm sure you can see by now, you are not above God, and you are not above judgment. Get it right, get it straight, get it fixed. For many years, there's a lot of corruption that has gone on in your state. As I have told you before, when it comes to being a nurse, the one thing we bank on, count on, and believe in is vital signs, baseline. You see, when you go to the doctor, what's the first thing they do? Baseline, vital signs. Therefore, if anything changes, they automatically know something's up, something's going on. Let's get in there and fix it. Let's get in there and rescue them. Your CPS system is broken. You have a lot of CPS workers that were making decisions based on their own agendas. Your system is broken because of your baseline. Your baseline was corrupt, is corrupt. When you have workers making decisions based off of their own beliefs, not facts, not visual, not correct assessments. This is why your system broke. This is why your system will stay broke until you fix your baseline. Again, put you a nurse in there with some of these social workers when they go out and visit, because a nurse will know the true correct signs to look for. You can preach this out of a book to these CPS workers all day long. And if they are corrupt, or if they have their own agenda, your baseline is still going to be messed up. We have a lot of people here that thought they were above God, and God came in. God is still coming. You thought you could be corrupt. You thought you could sweep things under the carpet. Let me ask you something. What do you think is going to happen when this audio gets out where this woman states that social worker lied for her? You have families that have been destroyed because of those social workers that had their own agendas and lied. You have families that have been screaming at your government. This social worker lied. You didn't want to believe those families. It is a racketeering ring in a certain essence because of government funding. You are cutting your nose off to spite your face because government funding comes from the taxpayers. So let's get ready. Yes, I'm going to cuss. Yes, I'm going to give you old country girls peace of mind. But apparently I see what you could not see, chose not to see. Judges in your counties, you do not sit higher than God. You do not sit higher than the taxpayers that pay your wages. And y'all figuring that out the hard way. All right, let's go ahead and get a little holy wood and Palo Santo cards here. There was a lot of corruption went on in your state. These CPS workers hid. There is nothing you are going to be able to do once this goes public to protect that mother. Because of what your corrupt social workers did out of their own agenda, spite, racism, whatever. You turned yourselves into a coven, clique, clan, and you have destroyed many families. Many families. Now, yes, child abuse does happen. We've seen that right here with this mother. But at no point did you listen to what anyone was trying to tell you. Just like when my son went to make a police report on the fact that he was being poisoned. That report was never filed. You have a lot of corruption going on in your county, in your state. I have been screaming about this for 6 years. This should have been handled better on all parties. We should have sued for custody long before that child ever left this state, no doubt, no doubt. But, again, you, your CPS workers, your judges, your DAs, none of you sit higher than God. And if you look at the paranormal activity, if you look at the cross that showed up, if you look at everything that's going down and that has happened, you can see God had a hand in it. A lot of people think, out of pride, ego, whatever, some of the positions they hold, they can't be touched, that they're untouchable. God can touch you. There will be people losing homes, losing jobs, losing careers behind their corruption because you made your choice. You made your choice, and your choices had to do with evil, good, right, or wrong. We have the Empress. All right, let's get in it. This involves a female. Now, you can sit out here and call me crazy all day long. Baby, I didn't put that cross on my hand. That came from many hours. Again, in 2018, 760. In 2019, 843. I have done everything I could to help this family. You turned a blind eye to the fact these children were on the floor. I put them in beds. You've turned a blind eye to the fact on how corrupt this family was. You turned a blind eye to what was happening to this man. Now, you have a law. You contradict yourself because you have a law that states if gestation did not happen in your county, it does not fall under your rule, your law. And we also have color of law involved in this as well. 6 of water. So yeah, we're going to do a tarot reading. We're going to do a tarot reading on it. There are going to be many families when this becomes public, and it's going to become public, because as a concerned grandmother who was targeted, put through a hell of a lot of mental anguish by these convicts, con artists, people staging wrecks. They did a lot. They did a lot to stop this man. They did a lot to literally murder this man. All under y'all's watch. Baseline. When your social worker told that man, sir, we're not talking about her children, we're talking about yours. Ma'am, you're a piece of crap, you're racist, you deserve to be stripped from everything you have that has to do with your job. And I quote again, sir, we're not talking about her kids, we're talking about yours. Well, I recall making a call to CPS on her beating her son in the head with her fist. Social worker, you dropped the ball. You have set yourself up for a discrimination lawsuit, ma'am. And when we get your name on a form, you will be sued. And I will make damn sure of it. The mental anguish you yourself out of your racism cost these babies and cost this man, as well as your choices, made it okay for these people to target me, a nurse. Someone that is listed as a reporter in judicial forms. We are guided. We stand on a code of ethics as well to report abuse. You turned a blind eye to that. You turned a blind eye to what was going on. You've all heard these children's screams. Now, no doubt, this mother has sat back and done some brainwashing. No doubt, you've done all you can to correct it, to make it look like she is the good mother, help her come ahead, change things. You cannot change history. You cannot change what happened. You cannot change the evidence, the proof that I have. You cannot change how these people have mentally fucking tortured me for 6 years. You cannot change how these people mentally tortured this man. You all wanted to look at this man like he was a bum because he didn't have a job. How would you feel if a strung-out drug addict was trying to creep into your daughter's room? You all let a lot of unjust crap be swept under the carpet to save face, save images. You cannot save those from the mighty hand of God. All right. We have the 6 of Cups, nostalgia, past. Regrets. I have said before and I will say it again. When God chooses to take you down, He's not going to take you from here, because that would simply be poof, and no one would notice. he's going to take you from here so the world notices. And that's exactly what's happening. When the CEO had to step down, no one steps down from a job earning hundreds of thousands a year for no reason, unless you had something to hide. A lot went on here. This was very horrific. By you all sweeping everything that happened under the rug, not acknowledging it, not changing it, you had ample time to correct every bit of this. When it goes public, and the public and the media get a hold of this recording and all of the evidence, you are going to have so many families gunning for you. Your state is going to be so in debt due to lawsuits, you're not going to know if your ass is on fire, if your head's a catching. And they have all right to do it. Your workers, due to their discrimination and their choices, caused so many people so much misery. Baseline. Train your workers different. Put you some nurses in there. A nurse, a good nurse, is not going to let racism blind her. A good nurse is not going to let a CPS worker's opinion alter her assessment. Y'all fucked up and y'all know it. You've done this to many families. And I do believe the divine is calling justice. The divine's calling your hand. This will become public. There's no way to stop it. You can't stop it. What, you're going to oppose God and stop it? You can't stop it. The fact that I'm a little tarot reader doesn't have a damn thing to do with it. The fact that a lot of people targeted me, this family, and I can sit and read you their background checks. Armed robbery. Running from child support. Manslaughter. Abuse of a pregnant woman. This is a vile, disgusting family. And y'all protected them. Y'all protected them. I understand your law says a father doesn't have many rights. Every time this man came to y'all and pleaded for help and tried to ask about his rights, y'all misinformed him. You misinformed him. The many attempts I made to contact the governor, contact CPS, contact the sheriff's office, contact public safety, every one of you dropped the ball because you were so busy worried about your image, your networking, your income, and everything else. Every one of you took a vow to do a job, protect and serve, and none of you did it correctly. The police dropped the ball when they didn't file that police report. CPS dropped the ball when your workers were discriminative. Y'all caused this man a lot of anguish. By not doing your job, you gave these people the freedom to target me. I've been stalked for 6 years. I will also be filing suit because my civil rights were violated. Had you done your job, we would have taken custody, we would have filed restraining orders, and the judicial system would have stood up and protected the correct people. The judicial system would have corrected and stood up for the abuse these babies was going through. Do you not understand that a child was beat with a belt for putting a note on the refrigerator expressing her little feelings of how she was being abused? Do you not understand that? You didn't care. You didn't care because your judges have their money, have their homes, and have that perfect image of their families while they hide shit. You didn't care because you tried to hide every bit of it. And every one of you will have to answer for it. I've said it before and I'll say it again. You think, because it hadn't happened yet, it hadn't gone public, hadn't gone to the media, it's not going to happen. It's all going to happen in divine timing. Again, the good Lord's waiting for it to get here so it can be dropped. Your state will go national. It will go national. It will go further than any of these cases that have already been exposed. And let me tell you why. Because the way your judicial system, your workers, and everyone else networked together for their crooked justice is the same way the tax-paying citizens are going to network and stand up together to bring down your corrupt judicial system. There's going to be an outcry for justice. And these people, these tax-paying citizens, will finally have proof via my son in that recording on how your fucking social workers lie. Page of water. We have the Six of Water. We have nostalgia that has to do with the past. We have the Page of Water, which has to do with someone that acted very immature. These would be the people that let their racism get in the way of their assessments, their education, what they were taught, how they were taught to handle things, how they handled it. Corruption. Moving on. I have never had, you realize how many people I have had come for me, try to sit me down, shut me up, and you, sir, were one of them. The governor's office, the CEO, because I mentioned the word gun on your Facebook. Well, this man had to pull one for his own life. This man is no bum. This man holds a job now and goes to it every day. This man was dealing with some sick energies, demonic energies, racist energies. People who thought they could set him up, kill him, then click together, lie, and get away with it. The divine is going to bring justice to each and every one that had a hand in this, from the CPS workers on up. Again, you may never face a judicial system for what you did, but you will face judgment. Jobs, homes, marriages, every bit of it. Health, wealth. You do not outrank God. And God saw. God saw. God saw everything going on in your county. God saw innocent being abused. Did we forget the meek inherit the earth? Did we forget the innocent children matter more than any adult, any law system, any judge, any CPS worker, any racist CPS worker? We can prove this was a hate crime and this was racist. And by bringing our information out, there are going to be many, many other families that I will help prove the exact same thing. Moving on. All right, so we have nostalgia, has to do with the past. We have some folks that acted in immature energies, which would be letting their racism cloud their judgment and their assessments. Moving on. It doesn't matter if these children are white. It doesn't matter if these children are black. If a child was harmed because the racism kept them in a black home, you're at fault. You're accountable. If a white child was harmed because your racist CPS workers' assessments helped cause that harm, you will be held accountable. It may not be just in the court of law, because there are judges that are going to be held accountable as well. Had your CPS workers not manipulated your judicial system, your county would have never been put in this position. And you still have some of those same women sitting there to stand in my son's face while he was begging, pleading, and crying from his soul to bring forth the abuse, the wickedness, the corruption, the racism, and everything that was going on. And y'all chose to be crooked, deceitful, conniving, and sweep it under the carpet. All right, let's get on with it. Messenger of air. Messenger of air. So we have a messenger. Air. Air stands for intelligence. Air stands for judicial. Air stands for bringing light to things. Someone speaking truth. Someone not afraid to speak out. So we have the past. We have some folks who acted in immature energies, and we have messenger of air. Truth will come out. You had 6 years, and you were more worried about let's change the law. Let's still do what we can to be corrupt and sweep it under the rug. You cannot hide what you did from God. You cannot hide the corruption and children being annihilated from God. And you were ignorant to ever think you could. Hermit. It's time for some folks to go within. Take a good long look at themselves. What they've done, the choices they've made, their actions, their assessments. There was a lot of corruption here. A lot of corruption. You need to drug test your CPS workers. You need to get a better baseline. It doesn't matter what laws you change. It doesn't matter who you sniff, snipe, shut up, sit down, or try to. Until you correct that baseline, your state will continue. Your counties will continue to have the same thing happen. And I do believe, folks, that the big man sat back and watched all of it and chose someone with pure heart to come in and expose it. When I sit back and I look at how all of this went down, it's almost like she was led to your state with her corruption, the same way he was led to go fight for his babies, the same way his mother had a cross appear and is led to expose every damn bit of your corruption. This is bigger than all of us, baby. You can't run from it. So, you can change all the laws you want. You can't hide from it. You will stand in judgment. You will stand held accountable. Love. 5 of earth, 6 of water. So, we have some folks here that did some spinning the wheels, some lying, some racism to keep someone out in the cold. That could be my son, that could be myself, that could simply be real judicial, real accountability. There's a lot of fraud that went on here. A lot of fraud. I don't know what makes people think that they can use their own agendas, their own ulterior motives. Baby, this is for the CPS workers. If you are so damn hurt down in your soul that you use your own agenda of racism and use that opinion in your assessments to destroy families, you do not need to be a CPS worker. Because your job is not to look at someone's color. Your job is to see the abuse, see the bruises, see what's really happening here, if there can be therapy, if this can be fixed, or if this has been a continuous pattern that is only lightened up when it comes to these children because you have your eye on them. Because you are leading and guiding them. Because you see, this is a repetitive pattern with this woman. She was under the scrutiny of CPS before she ever left the state of Louisiana. You have a sick soul, every one of you. When these children would tell you things, you went right back and told the mother. Who do you think was punished for that? Innocent babies. You are some sick, yes, I'm going to say it. You are some sick, disgusting, racist bitches. And you are going to be sued. You can turn everything you own over to someone else. Once that suit's in place and that lien is in place, anything you get afterwards will be taken. And that will be justice. That will be correct for what you did. These children have gone through years of misery. You turned a blind eye to the maggots. You turned a blind eye to the filth. You turned a blind eye to the corruption. You turned a blind eye to who these family members were, who these con artists were. You turned a blind eye to all of the staged accidents. Do you not understand? How the fuck is someone supposed to get a job when they're sleeping with the enemy? That's staging vehicle accidents to tear up their vehicles. That's throwing away titles. You chose to turn a blind eye and a deaf ear to every bit of it. You picked your side. You chose good or evil. You chose your side. You let your own agendas, you let your disgusting souls make your choices for you. And for that, you will be held accountable and you will face judgment. You can't outrun God. He knows your address, baby. Don't matter how many times you move. You tried to make me look crazy because of what I experienced. Baby, I don't have a reason in the world to lie to you. And it would take a sick, disgusting soul to dig a cross into a blister. I'm one hell of a woman, baby, but I don't have that kind of balls. And from what I'm seeing, there's some gentlemen here that didn't have a correct set of balls either. You don't like it because I speak it from baseline. I'm not up here using big political terms. I'm telling you straight from a tax-paying, middle-class citizen's point of view. There's a lot of you that are just straight piece of shit because of how you didn't stand up for what was right and how you let this go down. How you tried to block me. How you tried to block this man. Everything you did to save this mother, to save your ass, save your image, did everything you could to make sure your county didn't look bad over it. All of the evidence points to exactly what happened here. Racism, hate, corruption, spineless, ballless officials, corrupt judges. It's all going to happen. It's all going to go down. It will all go public. You can sit here and call me crazy all day long, baby. The fact, the evidence, the proof says she wasn't crazy at all. But the part you played, let these con artists, these thieves, these scammers mentally torture someone. You violated these children's civil rights. You violated this man's civil rights. You will be held accountable. And you already know that. That's why you're stepping down. Moon. The moon represents what's done behind closed doors, what's done in secret. We have that on this page of water. So there was a lot done in secret from immature energies. Those immature energies will be those racist CPS workers. People who had different agendas other than doing their job and doing their job correctly. You work, you hold a position, madams. And that position is to make a correct assessment and give a correct accounting before a judge in a judicial system. You perjured yourselves. You manipulated the judicial system. You manipulated this man. You manipulated the CEO. You manipulated the governor. Because you lied. You did many lies. All out of racism, hatred, and your own agenda. So what you all caused to happen was this entire family come for me. And that's okay. Because I know who I am. And I know who God is. They came for me to try to prove who I am. You made a lot of slander against my name. Whore, prostitute, drug addict, drug dealer. The people in your family are exactly who you tried to claim me of being. But what you all failed to realize was you was playing with somebody who had one hell of a backbone. Let's just say, if the divine sent me to make you be held accountable, well, I guess me and God's coming, huh? All right, next we have 10 of Earth. Messenger of air. Well, there's a messenger of air speaking some truth, and we have the 10 of Pentacles there, so apparently that truth is going to cost y'all some money by your own hands. Because we do have the proof. We do have the evidence. And there's going to be more evidence come out. This man's car is just literally torn up. Because all the stage wrecks they staged. They did everything they could to stop this man from having a job. This woman's a fucking liar. Chronic liar. Oh, I work. Baby, she had a pattern of that before she left here. Let me tell you what that was about. Never having to be responsible or take accountability for 6 kids sitting at home. Therefore, there's always a drug addict laid up in the house. The same drug addict who let an infant roll off the bed and it took him hours to find it because the child was in the closet under clothes where it fell, where it got tangled up. The same people who never noticed that the other toddler put a knife in the playpen with the infant. This has gone on for many, many, many years, and a lot of you did a lot of corrupt shit to try to hide it. Your corruption caused people misery Because by you not doing your job, that allowed these people to have the freedom to target me and my child and these children. They've tried to stop my jobs. They've tried to stop my income. They've tried to mentally torture me. A clique, a clan, a coven. Racism at its finest. The world is changing, baby. You can be held accountable for what you did. CPS workers, we will eventually get your name on written form because that is public record. And as we get each and every one of your names, you will be held accountable. Your racist decisions will cost you, as well they should. When children are suffering, children are dying, and children are being put through mental anguish because you let your hatred, you let what's eating at your soul direct the course of action that you took. And the actions you took were corrupt and sick. Every one of you, even the police officer, when you don't have a job. A job is not every fucking thing that matters. Your jobs were to protect and serve. It doesn't matter if it's a fucking bomb. Your job is to protect and serve. Because you have a con artist that is telling you, I work. The same con artist that set up all these stage accidents. The same con artist that put a child in a stage accident. The same con artist that tried to poison a man, kill a man. If you're too damn blind, you can't see. This was all orchestrated from the beginning. I tried to tell y'all in the beginning. People are running to y'all state to use their laws. Criminals are running to y'all state to use your laws to save their asses. Do you believe me now? And your injustice, how you tried to sweep it under the carpet, you pretty much handed them the blade to do it. Your corrupt judges, your corrupt CPS workers. Instead of trying to bury it, Mr. Leach, you should have acknowledged it. You should have fixed it. You should have taught your CPS workers how racism will not be tolerated. I don't care if it's a white kid, black kid, Asian kid, Chinese kid. Racism will not be tolerated when it comes to children. Innocent children. And I have every right to be highly pissed. My babies, my grandbabies, those sweet, sweet innocent babies have been manipulated and mentally tortured by a one-legged criminal, by a vicious, jealous aunt who sprayed whiskey in their face, who makes little comments to torment them. We need more black babies. They have tried to strip these children's worth and mentally play with their little innocent minds. And all I have to say about everyone in your judicial system, your CPS workers, including you, y'all some slick, slimy, low-down, dirty sons of bitches. And that's straight from old country girl in Louisiana. You tried to use everything you could. Y'all have forged paperwork. Hell, y'all probably even put me on the watch list. What you did was corrupt. You tried to sit me down, shut me up, and make sure my voice would not be heard. I will be heard. God will be heard. And we are coming. It will go public. This recording will go public. Your social worker was standing there when this mentally ill mother stated they lied for her on a drug test. That's corruption. That alone shows the racism and what was being done. They set this man up. They set this man up to murder this man over the love of his children. You just can't get more disgusting. So for every one of you that do not think you will ever have to pay the piper or answer to God, sit back and watch what's going to happen with your children. Sit back and watch what's going to happen with your careers, your homes. I don't even have to show up, baby. It's still going to happen. I suggest some people start speaking some truth and start handling the situation the correct way. Moving on. This messenger of air and this Ten of Pentacles, when that truth comes out, air is truth. Air is logic. Air is expressing truth. Ten of Pentacles. When this truth comes out, you're going to have to pay so damn many families. It's going to cost you in your own personal life because of the choices you made. We have the Hermit. The Hermit represents going within for clarity, truth, illumination. This will be illuminated. Six of air, victory. Moving on to calmer waters. Love, Page of Earth. I may be a little bit immature, gammy, but you have to understand, I'm over here kicking, fighting, deflecting blows. Every choice you all made brought misery to my life. You have no idea the people that tried to kick me and hold me down, oppress me and keep me back. From your CPS workers to this sick, demonic family you protected. Forms, documents, it's all going to come out, baby. All right. We know that the Page of Earth, that's someone patient. Very patient. But it's due to love. Patience and love. All right, on the bottom, we have patience. Woo! Tell them about it, Divine. Tell them about it. Moving on. I do not care who comes at me because I speak on racism. I speak truth. The world is changing. People are getting fed up with ratchet-ass attitudes. People are getting fed up with the theft. Any person, I don't care if you're black or white, baby. If you work a job, you're paying for all of this bullshit. And people are getting tired of it. That's one of the reasons I admire Hodge twins. They speak truth. They speak truth on the ratchet. They speak truth on the Karens. It doesn't matter if you're white, black, green, Asian. They speak truth. Candace Owens, a very intelligent woman, speaking truth. Kendall Reacts, speaking truth. Look around you. Taxpayers are getting fed the fuck up of. And truth's going to come out. We have the Ten of Air, Ten of Swords. This is the corruption, the BS, the blades somebody tried to put in somebody's back. So you see, here we have the past, what went down in the past, trying to leave someone out in the cold, and the blades they put in their back. They tried to kill this man. They wanted him to go on, sit down, shut up. Heartburn. Excuse me, guys. Yeah, this one's going to burn, y'all. They wanted him to go on, sit down, shut up, go away. When this first started, the old one-legged heathen tried to intimidate him. Sir, let me say to you, this is a good man that you was trying to play with. And what you played with was his emotions and his love for his children. So your judgment is probably going to be your children. If you have the love in your heart for your children, which I know you don't because you never paid child support, you ran from it. That's why you hop from state to state to state, as well as trying to hide your crimes. What you did to this man is going to come back to you tenfold. You're going to be stripped of something you truly love, maybe in your own life. You tried to intimidate and toy with somebody who was fighting for what was just, what was right, and his babies. And again, not everyone is led out of ego, pride, and bullshit. And that's what you were. You're just a fucking bully, sir. But I guarantee you this. The fight you was picking would not have ended the way you think. You may have needed some pallbearers. Because this man was fighting for something you have no idea about. And that is pure love. Now, before you want to come for me, you may want to look at the hand your wife played in this. All right, so we have what was hid, Page of Water. We have people that acted very immature and tried to keep their actions hidden. King of Air, they manipulated the judicial system. King of Air represents logic, authority, and this is what they tried to do. They manipulated a leader. They manipulated the judicial system, and they tried to keep get hidden. They tried to keep their immature actions hidden. This would be the mother, this would be the family, and this would damn sure be the CPS workers. Matter of fact, for all the training you do, you may need to give some pay. You may need to just put nurses in there. Put you some LPNs in there. Hand out a few pay raises. And I guarantee you, baby, your entire CPS system would change. All right, moving on. Again, no nurse is going to sit back and watch a child be abused. No nurse is going to give you a false critical assessment. Now, of course, the bad thing about that is racism does exist. But you need to question people. You need to do a test. Have your workers sign a paper. Because people keep trying to sweep it under the carpet. The same way a nurse has to do in-services. Until the day we stop nursing, until the day we give up the license, we have to continue those in-services. We have to continue renewing our knowledge. Your workers need to fill out forms stating that every one of them needs a psychological evaluation. Every one of them. Before you allow them the right to hold families and children's livelihoods, well-being in their corrupt little racist hands. Queen of Earth. Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. Coming to you speaking truth. This truth is going to go public, and you're going to have to pay a lot of people. We have the 4-air proposal. You're going to have to pay a lot of people for the corruption. You're going to have to pay a lot of people because you tried to sweep the racism of these CPS workers under the carpet. Every time a CPS worker went to this woman's house, she gained a new friend. Did you do your fucking job? No. You're not there to be anybody's damn friend. You're there to do a job. You are there to do an assessment and implement a plan. And that plan doesn't involve kissing ass, rubbing elbows, making friends, so children are abused. Your baseline is where you drop the ball. And if you do not make some changes on that baseline, the same pattern will continue to exist. Because you're not going to get different results. The CPS workers need to undergo a psychological evaluation. They also need to fill out some type of psych eval on what they stand for. Feelings, thoughts on things. So you can already pinpoint who has such a hatred in their soul that they will watch innocent children suffer because of it. Taxpayers, white, black, we will not sit back and watch children and families be destroyed behind racism, corruption, and unjust judicial systems. Your judicial system has blood on its hands. They tried to murder a man. Your CPS workers did not care if a man was murdered out of pure love because of their racism. Your CPS system did not care that children are being abused. So let me ask you, if an African-American mother has an African-American child, and she's beating that child, abusing that child, exploiting that child, what you're telling me, what your actions are telling the world, is that because she's African-American, she has an African-American child and an African-American worker, that she does not have to be held accountable for her actions and her abuse. Well, as I've said before, and I'll say it again, there are thousands, if not millions, of women who were caught up in the CPS system while they were abusing their children. I suggest you open those prison doors and let them out, if this is the guideline you stand by. And that's what you're speaking to the world when this woman goes unpenalized. When this woman goes not brought to justice. We have the Wheel of Fortune. So we have the Hermit. We have a lot of people that simply tried to hide this, move on to calmer waters with no care to others' destiny. All they were worried about was theirs. You truly did not give a damn, none of you, about these children's future, their destiny, or what was happening to them. You dropped the fucking ball in every way on what happened with this case. We have the Empress and we have the Nine of Fire, someone that was burdened by y'all's actions. Again, by not bringing this woman to justice, by not making this woman accountable for the abuse where she beat a child in the head with her fist. Maggots, filth. Grandmother, we need more black babies. Aunt, spraying whiskey in her face. Every day, they make little emotional, manipulative comments to these children. What do you think it's doing to them? It's stripping them of their worth. It is not okay to tell these babies they're fat, they're ugly, beat them with a belt because they try to put a little note on the fridge and express it. None of this can be taken away. Nothing you did in the past can be taken away. I don't give a damn, and I already know that's what y'all trying to do. Your way of fixing it is let's help get her right. Well, baby, sometimes you can't get mental illness right. The woman even put on her Facebook she was a nurse. If that doesn't clue you into the insane jealousy and the bullshit that went down here within, you're just ignorant. All right, moving on. Page of Earth, love. That would be Gammy's sometime immature energy out of her love. Gamma gonna keep on fighting, baby. I don't care who I have to contact. This will eventually go public. And there are a lot of you that's going to be disgraced. Worse than what you already have been. There are a lot of you that are going to face judgment from God. Worse than what you already have been. Hangman. CPS workers, governor, judicial officials. There were a lot of people that tried to stop this from coming about. So what we have is the past. Someone that tried to leave someone in the cold. They did not want all of this exposed. The exploitation, the extortion, how you paid a drug addict $5,000 in rent for more drug addicts to lay up. It's all going to come out, baby. All the proof I have, it's all going to come out. And then we have Hangman. They wanted this man stuck. They simply wanted him to go away. They put so many daggers in his back. This man went through pure hell, misery. Misery. You know, I'm not a vindictive person, but I hope God puts every one of you in the position to where you no longer have your health care, you no longer have your position, and you're brought to your knees to where you have to pull some of your own fucking teeth. Because there's just no pain that could ever be worse. And every one of you deserve that for what you put this man through. Some of you deserve prison sentences. This was corrupt. These workers put themselves in the position by their actions that you claned up with this mother and her racist family. That we already know claned up to target me and target him. Sabotage jobs, sabotage vehicles. You know why he couldn't hold a job? Family members got jobs with him. If the auntie worked there, they sabotaged it. If a family member worked there, they sabotaged it. This man had an option to go to a job at a factory. Did the interview, was hired and everything. And then they called him back about a week later and told him, well, you need to come in for another one. At which point they told him they couldn't give him the job. Sabotaged. You all did so much to this man by your actions. Really makes you look evil, doesn't it? Says a lot about what was in every one of your souls. So, baby, if you think the divine did pure love, what fucking part of that don't you get? Pure love. This man was willing to lose his life to some skank, sorry, shitty son of a bitches, as long as he could continue to protect his babies. My loves, it doesn't get any more pure than that. That's why God stepped in. That's why God stepped in. It doesn't get more pure than that. That overrides racism. That overrides government. That overrides every one of your shitty souls that made your shitty choices and tried to sweep every bit of this under the carpet so you could continue to be shitty. so you could save your image, so you could save your income, so you could save your pension. And before it's said and over with, when this goes public, when these families in Carolina get their hands on all this information, they're going to fuck y'all up. There's going to be an outcry in your state like there has never been an outcry. And it's going to be all races, not one. The families you destroyed behind racism, your baseline was corrupt. Your baseline is what caused all of this. People continue to turn a blind eye to racism. People continue to recognize it happens on both sides. People continue to try to turn a deaf ear to it. Our world's changing. This is going to change our world. God has arrived. And no, I'm not talking about out of rain. That cross did appear, baby. I didn't have a hand in that. All I was doing was busting ass working, making money, sending to Carolina. And that might be another reason why that cross appeared. Because you see, this mother wasn't as in poverty-stricken as she pretended. I have sent so many thousands to Carolina. If the rent wasn't getting paid, baby, let's see, we had a Social Security check and we had a job. Gammy was supplying school clothes, beds, groceries, helping pay light bills, water bills. The same woman that tried to get my own son to lie to me to extort me for money. If your rent wasn't paid, it's because you wasn't fucking paying it. If your rent wasn't paid, it's because your drug habit. And what did CPS do? Y'all paid the drug addicts rent so they could afford more drugs. And all of it's going to come out. You should have handled it. You've had plenty of time. So we are coming. We are going to court. And I can only hope you handle it correctly because I will be getting the media involved. This was gruesome. This was highly racist. This was sick, twisted. This family played a lot of twisted mental games with the judicial system, with all of their corruption, and how they targeted this man and everything they tried to do. Truth is going to come out. The media is going to get a hold of it. These families are going to get a hold of it. And there's a lot of folks that did a lot of corrupt shit that are going to be held accountable. Because instead of having families screaming, your workers are liars, instead of having families screaming, they were racist. Instead of having families screaming, I'm not abusing my child and you took them, now they're going to know your workers are racist and liars. All right, so we have Messenger of Earth. Out of love, someone speaking a message. 3 of Air, someone that was heartbroken. 7 of Fire, someone that is standing their ground. On the bottom, we have the Hierophant, divinely guided, baby. All right, that's what I have to say. So let's see. As we know, Tarot does not tell the future. Let's see what's going to happen. I have been gang stalked, tormented. I've had job sabotage. My son's had job sabotage. I've had my life threatened. And let me say that for the record, right here, right now. I have never once threatened any of these people's life. All I've done is invited them to come on over and catch a freedom seed. These people threatened my life many, many times. 10 of Swords. A lot of folks are fixing to get back what they gave. 10 of Blades. Their actions, goes around, comes around, is going to bring the 10 of Blades. Empress. I'm going to make damn sure every one of you are held accountable. You thought you could video my TikToks, video my readings. I have a reason to be emotionally distraught. I have a reason to be highly, highly pissed. You set my son up to be murdered. You've mentally tortured, emotionally tortured, and abused my grandchildren. You came for me. You gang stalked me. You stole my identity. You plastered all over Facebook to as many people as you could share it with. Markel. And quite a few others. And every one of you are going to face judgment. If not in a judicial system, then you will face judgment from the divine. And a lot of you are just simply going to get the shit sued out of you. For your hand in this corruption, in turning this blind eye, in the racism, trying to murder a man out of pure love. You tried to twist the narrative and make me and my son look like people we are not because I had an affair. Well, let me go ahead and say this. Baby, I could have been Aaron Brockovich and sucked 760 of them yesterday, and that still does not take away from the corruption, the abuse, and the bullshit that y'all did. This family targeted us out of hate. That's a hate crime. Your judicial system protected them. This family tried to murder a man out of hate and racism. That is a hate crime. So yes, there will be some folks that have to answer for this. Also, I sent to Michael Leach's office, straight to his office, not to any baseline CPS worker, my information, my tax records, information on this mother. I do believe one of your CPS workers got a hold of my information, and out of spite, jealousy, racism, whatever, decided to use it. Again, due to the license I hold, the vow I took, I am considered legally binding that I do have to speak on abuse. You tried to take the fact that I had foster kids, teenagers that no one ever taught anything, and the fact that I do cuss, and use that against me. Baby, these weren't just a stranger's children. These were my own kinfolk. And since then, I've had to replace a washer, a dryer, a refrigerator, a trimmer, and quite a few other things due to these children not being taught anything. When you have children that have never had anything, what you going to take from them? It didn't mean crap to them. We went through a lot of cycles around here. But you're not going to take the fact of who I am and try to manipulate and flip that and make it look like I have your soul. You tried to twist the narrative of who I am and who you are, mother, to make it look like I'm the bad guy. Baby, I have facts and I have proof. Proof of what I funneled into your home. Proof of how I got all 5 of your children off the floor. I have my proof. All you have is gossip, slander, and lies. Moving on. So we have an empress that's coming in bringing the 10 of swords, which will be the media and the other families. Speaking truth, speaking fact, and bringing evidence. Which is why I have released none of it. 8 of swords. Some folks going to jail. And I thought about it. I even made videos where I said I was going to release it. But, it occurred to me that the more I release, the more you can manipulate before we get there. You CPS workers even tried to make this look like I was the one out for vengeance. That my son didn't want his children. You're a fucking liar. This man put himself through mental torture sitting there trying to protect those children. Again, your police officers, your government, your governor, your CEO, your corrupt, racist CPS workers, you all dropped the fucking ball. And the way I see it, being who I am, is you're a bunch of yellow-belly, spineless piece of shits. And I do believe your tax-paying citizens are going to agree with me. Moving on. All right, so we have the 10 of swords, the empress, and the 8 of swords. We have some folks that are going to be going to jail. High priestess. Secrets, mystery, intuition, and trust. You know what that's called? Faith. Moving on. You see, they targeted me, tormented me, because I do have a little YouTube platform. They were paying these people, say this, say this, say that. Can you imagine the mental torture of someone trying to make you look crazy when you're sitting over here deflecting, just deflecting blows? Trying to pinpoint exactly which idiot's doing it. Can you imagine? Judge, governor, CEO, Getting into your car, flipping on your radio, whatever you're playing through your YouTube, and hearing. He just wiped his tail, shaved his mustache, dried his hands on a blue towel, put his socks on, put his shoes on last, kissed his wife, got in a blue car, maybe a yellow car, red car. No, it's a blue car. These people tried to mentally torment and just drive me insane, to literally cause me to take my own life, to hide corruption, theft, perjury, forgery, manipulating the judicial system. They did a lot. They did a lot. And some of it was your CPS workers. Moving on. When we have corruption in a system that holds children's lives in their hands, we will not. We will not. The tax-paying citizens, the ones that are paying y'all's fucking wages, that you use your laws to manipulate, crucify, and judge. We will not stand for it. King of Wands. We know that the King of Wands, sometimes that's the psycho, but the King of Wands is someone that can fit in with any group. It's like a chameleon. Could be a King of Wands going to jail. Aries, Leo, Sag. There's a lot of folks that are going to be held accountable. Again, like I said, you've tried to use my TikTok, you've tried to use my YouTube, you tried to use me getting out here showing my ass, because I'm trying to prove something here. I'm trying to bring to light the corruption you all did. And it will come. It will come. Again, like I said, the media will eventually get their hands on it. The citizens in your county, in your state, will eventually get their hands on it. And they're going to chew y'all's asses up and spit you out. Because the proof that your workers are racist and liars. The proof that you have crooked judges, your judicial system has been manipulated from within. And the same people that pay your wages are the same people you tried to sacrifice. All because of your image, the positions you hold, your ego, your pride, and your money. But most of all, your image. Well, I assure you this. God doesn't care about your image or your position. You made your choice. He chose your side. Stand on it. Gammy will never give up when it comes to how those babies were treated and how you thought you were going to get away with murdering my child. I would have had his body brought to Bossier City and an autopsy done. You wouldn't have fucking got away with it. Y'all let a lot of low down, dirty BS go on in your county and thought you would never be held accountable. But God saw it all.